He started in the Mississippi Delta, one of the cradles of American blues. And he has somehow managed to build his audience throughout most of his 81 years. John Lee Hooker lives in the pantheon of the genre, along with Muddy Waters and Mississippi Fred McDowell, Sonny Terry, and Brownie McGhee. And as Allison Stewart tells us, Hooker just now seems to be getting his second wind.
With his black glasses, sharp suit, and trademark fedora, he is an icon. From the first chord to the last foot stomp, that boogie is unmistakably John Lee Hooker. At 81 years old, Hooker still plays the music that is down-home Delta blues.
Every time I see a woman's face, I'm thinking my woman. She did me so bad.
What goes into writing a good blues song?
All I can tell you, blues are feeling. It's about people. You can't sing about cattle. You can't sing about animals. You should sing about human beings, love, hate, broken-hearted, and do the thing that he can pick you up, and he can let you down. Like Blues the Healer, Blues the Healer.
The Healer, one of the best-selling blues albums of all time, marked Hooker's return to popularity in the 90s.
That time is the right time.
It features a slinky remake of I'm in the Mood, a duet with his friend, an ardent fan, Bonnie Raitt, who remembers the first time she heard a John Lee Hooker record at age 16.
He was singing neck deep in mud, you know. Blues is, in general, is pretty in touch with some of the deeper stuff, you know. There's like real erotic, real scary, really midnight, kind of lonely, forlorn, all those feelings of dark night of the soul.
Raitt was on hand to help celebrate Hooker's 50th year of recording when he was recently honored with the Rhythm and Blues Foundation Lifetime Achievement Award.
The blues doesn't get any more taproot than John Lee, and the thing about him is the reason we are giving him this award is his whole life has been a study in how not to lose the edge of what made him a Mississippi Delta blues man to the core. This is the reason our parents did not want us to listen to the blues.
It's been a life worthy of a blues song. He was born in 1917 and raised on the Mississippi Delta in the small town of Clarksdale. As a child, Hooker learned to play guitar from his stepfather, a musician and farmer. But by his adolescence, Hooker hit the road in search of the big city.
Every time I see you, baby, walking down the street.
Why'd you leave home at 14?
I didn't want the farm. I didn't want the field. I didn't like, you know, cotton and stuff like that. And I heard about all these things up north, you know, there was record companies and nightclubs and music, and I thought I made a break for it.
The only thing John Lee Hooker planned to pick was a guitar. He first ran off to Memphis, then Cincinnati, and finally settled in Detroit, where he recorded his first hit in 1948 called Boogie Chillin'.
Yeah, my mama, she didn't love me. She had to stay out all night long. Oh, Lord.
It sold 1 million copies, which was quite an achievement for what was then called a race record in the United States. While in England, he was revered by young guitarists like Eric Clapton, who learned the blues from him.
It's like John says, blues is not about being miserable. It's a happy music. It's about expression. It's about sharing. And that's what's kept me alive through most of my life. I think he deserves this Lifetime Achievement Award just for the fact that he never changed key.
Hooker's career was not a string of award shows and accolades. Like many rhythm and blues pioneers, he earned little money from his early work and experienced financial troubles. By the mid-70s, he was frustrated and burned out by the music business. He stopped recording for years.
I wasn't getting paid. I'm making all these good records with these record companies, and they wasn't paying me right, which I don't like to say, but it's true. It don't happen now, though.
It doesn't happen anymore because Hooker has a bunch of lawyers and a trusted manager and agent, Mike Kappas.
It's a shame that in the 50s and 60s there weren't more lawyers involved on behalf of artists, because in that era, 40s, 50s, 60s, and probably all the way back to the beginning of recording time, especially for black artists, they were taken advantage of horribly.
It was Kappas who convinced Hooker to record again in the 80s, this time with younger guitar greats like Carlos Santana and Robert Cray, who repeatedly asked to work with their idol. The best of these pairings can be found on Hooker's golden anniversary release, The Best of Friends.
He's completely unique now in that he's a link to the origins of Delta blues, and he's also very contemporary right now.
These collaborations earned him his first Grammy Award at the age of 72.
John Lee Hooker won 4 Grammys, but he lost 2 in a fire here in his home just last July. It was a sad note in a year otherwise full of celebration. But being the blues man he is, John Lee Hooker didn't let a fire keep him down.
The house is being rebuilt. Guitars that were lost are being replaced. And when he plays, he still sells out shows.
I want you to, now baby, put on some boxing gloves. Will you dance, baby, will you dance? Some fool might want to fight you. Now baby,
What do you want the next generation of musicians and music lovers to know about the blues?
Well, I want them to know that the blues will be here forever, and it will. I want them to kind of keep the blues alive, and I think they will. They'll never die.
John Lee Hooker helps the learning curve with visits to local schools.
Early morning time, blues all around my bed.
There wouldn't be any music from this century if it wasn't for the blues. I mean, the roots of jazz, which are the roots of all popular music, and swing and rock and roll and soul music, and everything that I love about being alive at this period, I can be traced back to John Lee Hooker.
With my heart in San Francisco. With my heart.
Today, John Lee Hooker lives a comfortable life in Northern California, but he remembers the hard times. That's why the night he was honored, he gave back to the Rhythm and Blues Foundation $20,000 of his award to help other musicians who might not have the kind of lawyers he has now.
Do you ever think about retiring?
Yeah, real soon.
You're going to retire soon?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh. You think I'm kidding, but I'm not. I really am.
Why do I think I've heard you say that before?
I know you. I love it. I never complete retire. You never retire from the blues.
And since John Lee Hooker is the blues, he may never retire.